All right, there we go. Just had to make sure that everything was running as smoothly as possible. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. I'm your host and pilot, as always, Uncle B. Today we are leg 41 of our tour across America, the Junkers 52. We'll be departing from Columbia, Missouri, heading to Little Rock, Arkansas. Not Arkansas, it's Arkansas. Just to make sure everybody's aware. Excuse me. It says a 3-hour and 51-minute flight. I think we'll get there a little bit quicker than that. Let's see. So we're going to take off from runway 20. We put the route is in. It has been verified. And our server, as always, on Southeast Asia. So we're going to take off from runway 20, and then we're going to kind of make a little bit of a left turn and head to our first navigation aid here. It's a Vortac all the way right there. That's our first one. That's 76 nautical miles away from our departure. No, it's a TACAN. I'm sorry. I thought it was a Vortac. It's a TACAN. And then we're going to turn for 97 nautical miles to our next one, which is way down here. Right there. That's our second one, which is also, that's a Vortac. And then we'll make a quick run of 51 nautical miles here to GQE. So yeah, we got two that are basically pretty long stretches. I think from here to here is 93 nautical miles. So we got a couple long stretches today. Of course, this thing disappears on me. I don't know why it does that. But anyway, that's our plan for today. Don't think it's going to take the whole 3 hours and 51 minutes. I think we'll get there. Good morning, Mick. How are you? Thank you for the bits. Appreciate it. Did I miss anybody else? No, not yet. I think Joseph will be in much later. I know Jason's streaming Snow Runner, so I'm sure Joseph is watching that. That's probably more important to him right now. So anyway, so that's what we got for today. Nothing else planned yet for the week. It's kind of taking it one day at a time. I did take off the bandages yesterday. The wound is healing up. Washed my arm because the skin was all dry and yucky, and just so I didn't put it back in the splint. So just trying to get used to life without it as much as possible. So yeah, that's what we got today. So it should be a nice little flight. We'll change the weather and everything. Matter of fact, we can change it now. And we'll change the time once we spawn in here on the departure runway. Let me just scroll down here and just select a few clouds. Just a few. That setting right there. And then yeah, we'll go from there. Like I said, we'll advance the time a little bit until we get some sun in the sky, so we can take off and see kind of where we're going. So, and then once we're on our way, we will we'll have a bit of a story time, talk about some music, a certain artist, and roller skates and grease. Plates of grease and roller skates. We'll revisit that story. I know I've told it before, but that's okay. I don't mind telling it again. Maybe kind of add a little bit more substance to the story. So yeah, that's what we got today. So hopefully everybody's enjoying this last Monday of February. I can't believe tomorrow's it. Tomorrow's it. Now, what I don't know is if you are a what's it called, leap year baby. If you were born on the 29th of February, do you celebrate your birthday tomorrow or on the 1st, since there is no 29th? Or is it one year you celebrate on the 28th, the next year you celebrate it on the 1st, or how does that work? How do you celebrate your birthday? I don't know. I'm not a leap year baby, so I couldn't begin to imagine the how do you sort all that out. So Mick, how are you, good sir? Nice to see you here as always. My main supporter, my number one. He was the first subscriber here on the channel as soon as we started up the Uncle B Sim channel. So nice to see you here as always. Whenever you're able to pop in and say hello and spend some time with us. We had snow over the weekend, and I'm looking outside right now, and there's very little remnants of that snow. It's like the magic eraser came through and erased it all. It's crazy. I don't know what happened, but that's the weather, unfortunately. Supposed to get another storm between today and tomorrow, but I always get the alerts on my phone, and then nothing significant ever happens. But they always say it. Oh, it's gonna be bad. Watch out. And then it's like, so everybody, holds their breath, and then they wake up the next day, and it's not a snow day. They got to go to work. They got to go to school. Whatever. I know when I was a student at the community college, we were always like, is it going to be a snow day? Do we have to come in? Yes, you have to come in. Are you serious? If you look outside? No, you got to come in. Okay. So we'll wait about 8 more minutes here. We'll spawn in and get ready to skedaddle. I've already filled up the aircraft. It's already fully loaded with fuel. Should have more than enough to get us there. So once we get to this vortex right here, we'll call into Little Rock Airport there, and we'll tell them we're coming in for landing. They'll give us the instructions for the pattern entry. Either it's going to be straight in, or I think it might very likely will be a straight in approach, but we'll see. See what happens, and we'll deal with it from there. We may have to kind of go across the airport and then come back around if it is a straight in approach. Been to this airport before, a long time ago. Went to Little Rock for 2 weeks for a military course, and yeah, actually went into downtown Little Rock. Trying to think where everything is in relation to everything else, but I don't remember. But yeah, there's a National Guard training facility out here. All the recruiters and the oh, nice, good deal. Recruiters and um, guidance counselors for the military entrance processing stations across America all go to school here for that here in Arkansas. So anyway, I think it's just going to be you and I, Mick, today. It seems like in the chat. Joseph's probably bumping back and forth between Jason and me, or Jason and his lunch, and who knows. We'll see. We'll see if he arrives or not. I'm guessing it's going to be. I'm kind of figuring it's going to be a quiet day. It's the last Monday of the month, and people are probably super busy trying to get things done and all that. So that's okay. About 5 more minutes. Nice and peaceful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to process what this Evil Dead game that him and Chris and Bex were playing the other day. I don't quite understand the premise or what they were trying to do. Maybe because I came into the game kind of late, so I'm not too big on those horror survival sort of games where it's dark all the time and all that. I don't particularly care for those. Not that I'm a scaredy cat. It's just not my thing. You know. Yeah, but I guess that's the new shiny toy in the box for some folks. I don't know. I don't get it, but whatever. So Bowling Green. That's in Kentucky. I know that. I'm trying to remember which university is near there. I think there's a university near there. Anyways, all right, a few more minutes and we'll get started. Give people time to come in and say hello before I. But knowing Joseph, as soon as I pop into the aircraft to get started, get ready to go, then he'll be like, "Hey." He's probably sitting there watching, just waiting for me to spawn in on the runway to get out of here. So we'll dial in our first navigation aid there. Once we spawn in, also get the aircraft set up and ready to go. So we've already been through all the states here to the south. So basically, from Little Rock, we're going to have to probably go to like Nashville, then back up through here, and then all the way up to Detroit, and back down. Probably hit Ohio. Make sure we hit. Maybe we'll go to Detroit and then go Cleveland, and then we'll have to head north. Make sure we get the all the way up here to the northern 48 states, and then back on down and back to JFK where we started. All right, I think we can go ahead and spawn in. Get close enough for government work. Today's flight brought to you by Parasox Airline. Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Airline CEO Scruffy Tam will show you, if you ask him nicely when he's streaming, he will show you his mismatched socks. Let's go ahead and get the time advanced a little bit. Oh, that'll do just about right there. That on. Let's get our wing lights off. And turn the taxi lights off too. We don't need that. Let's get our 1340. Do picking up the signal yet, and let's see. Oh, I know what else. Step a little heat into the carburetors. We'll just go 45, just so that we're, as we get up in altitude, it'll even up. Alright, I think that should be it. Yeah, there is another, well, the runway right here that runs through is not, you got it, it's X'd off, so it's not in use. Yes, there's only this runway. Unless this is still under construction, I don't know. It's a very short runway, though. One behind us. Alright, I think we can get in the air now. Uh, 165 is our first heading. Away we go. Away we go. Oh, the fuel thing changed. Why did it change? I had it all gassed up. Now let me change it again. I should have checked that. Before we departed, that the fuel was in fact all. Sometimes because I did it just before we started, before I started the stream, so I don't know why. track here, and then we won't get a DME reading because we're it's a TACAN. Flaps up. All right, continue the climb. We can dim that that bright. Let's leave a little bit of light on. All right, so we are on our way to Little Rock, Adams Field. Also named after Governor Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary. It's got like multiple names. So anyway, that's where we're heading. East 71 Little Rock. Lead the politics out of it. But yeah, this airport does have, it seems like it's got a couple of different names. Sky Vector, it's called Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport. When I visited there ages ago, I don't know that if it was named that back then or if it's been named that recently. So this is a good one. Oh, and I'm muted. I took a sip of. Anyway, let me restart the story here. So when I was a freshman in sophomore in high school, I had a teacher named Mr. Brewer who, for those of you who might have heard this story before, Mr. Brewer was my English teacher who, one of our assignments was to take a song that we liked for whatever reasons, and it could be any kind of song, as long and if there was explicit lyrics, which was a very controversial thing back when I was in high school. You weren't supposed to recite the explicit lyrics, but you were supposed to talk about the song and explain why you liked it and whatnot. So he'd always talked about Frank Zappa, and I never really, my musical taste was pretty much straightforward. I liked 80s music, new wave, alternative music, basically, or what they would consider pop, you know. So my music taste didn't expand until I went to Germany, and there was in Heilbronn, where I was stationed at. Now, of course, you have the Post Exchange, or the PX they had a small music section. They'd have CDs, and but they weren't like, well, I shouldn't say they weren't like nothing new. There was new music, but it wasn't like a oh, we did pick up the signal. There we go. 56 nautical miles to our first navigation aid there. So they so if you wanted newer music, you went off post in downtown there, in the same plaza where they would hold the yearly Kris Kringle market, which had arts and crafts and food and Glühwein, which is hot wine, and very the atmosphere was amazing for the holidays, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, there was a store that had, you could buy vinyl, because back then vinyl was still a big thing. It wasn't completely gone yet, at that point. Most companies were still releasing stuff on vinyl, or if you were into DJing, you could find those 12-inch mixes, and a lot of soldiers I knew in the barracks had record players. They also had, I think, a couple of guys I knew had reel-to-reel tape machines. A lot of people who'd been there for some time had invested in stereo equipment. Right, but anyway, so I was downtown one day, and I see this album by Frank Zappa called Joe's Garage. And the premise behind Joe's Garage, now I'll say this: Frank Zappa's music is definitely not for everybody. It's in many songs it's overtly sexual. I'm just going to tell you straight up. He says some overtly sexual things. But anyway, Joe's Garage is the premise of it. It's this concept album where this guy Joe, he's a musician, and he wants to just play music on his guitar, and he gets arrested, and he has to go to jail because he wasn't playing his guitar the way society wanted him to play his guitar. Okay. And so he goes this whole, it's basically Joe's life in songs, where he's, he goes to jail, and he gets his heart broken by this girl who gives him unpronounceable disease and all this stuff, right? And so I listened to it, and he's an amazing musician. Zappa was, and as time went on, I got more and more into his music, and he he when he was still alive, there was a lot of stuff that was either issued for the first time on CD. So like a lot of their live shows, um, he released that. But they released an album back a long time ago. He had a band called the Mothers of Invention, right? And uh, so this album called Playground Psychotics. I know it's a weird name for an album. I don't think many people are listening because the ads are playing. Let me wait till the ad thing comes back green and I'll continue the story. Forgot to throttle back there. Of course, we nose over, but the plane hasn't right now it's starting to nose is back. Boy, we are going through everybody's airspace this morning. Goodness gracious. We'll pick up the story here once the ads are back or done playing. I apologize. That's how we keep the lights on here in the Junkers 52. We run the ads. Yeah, I don't know how long. See, it should be a couple minutes of ads, but sometimes the ad thing runs a bunch of them together to kind of catch up. I don't know. I just know that they're done when the little gray thing goes back green, and I can run ads if I want to before the next ad. That's only 2 minutes of ads, so it's like either 4 30-second ads or 2 1-minute ads, or just 1 2 minute. I don't think. So that's back. We got lots of flying. So pick up story time. I didn't think we'd pick up a signal, but we finally did. We had to get a little bit closer before it and for those of you who are new, if you don't understand all the terminology, that's okay. For those of you who are on YouTube, if you want to ask questions or can always post a thing in the comment section. If you have a question, we'll try to answer it. Oh, look at that. We finally bumped up the viewers. Check that out. Morning, everybody. I'm the host of Pilot Uncle B. We're on our way to Little Rock today. Here in the 52, leg 41 of our trip across America. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I apologize if you're watching a couple ads before you pop in here to the video. Hopefully everybody's having a good last Monday, February. I guess a couple people are like, yeah, no, this isn't me. That's okay though. Not everybody's cup of tea. That's alright. I can accept that. Do that, everybody's like, oh, ads and ads and ads. I want to watch the flying. I like for you to watch the flying too. You know what? Let me do a refresh. See if that. Oh, still grayed out. Alright. Well. But anywho's, hopefully everybody's well. This Monday morning. Watched a little golf over the weekend. First time in the ages that I've actually sat and watched a golf match. I was down there in West Palm Beach, Florida. Honda Classic. Yeah, a lot of names I don't know. The last time I watched golf was pretty much when Tiger Woods was. There we go. Now they're done. Okay. So yeah, I did watch some golf this week. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So back to story time. So anyway, so Frank Zappa releases this album called Playground Psychotics, and what it was he recorded some small concert footage from 1970, September of 1970 to December of 1971, when he and the Mother's Invention were out on tour. They also got to meet John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Yoko, I think, did a song with them during a performance. I think all it was just her wailing while they were playing music. That was pretty much the gist of the show with her on stage. But anyway, so it's interspersed. There's music parts, but then there's parts where he's got a tape recorder and he's kind of poking fun at where they're traveling at the time and kind of describing things. You know, he was very I'm trying to think of the word to use. I don't want to say he was crass. It was just that, you know, he was a different sort of musician, and what they were trying to do was very experimental at the time. Anyway, there's a part where they're all, him and the band are kind of sitting around talking, and he asks everybody what they had to eat, and this one person just out of nowhere, and this wasn't scripted, it was just kind of like they were just sitting around, either they were drunk or they were stoned or whatever, or a combination of the two. This one of the band members, and I don't know who it was, says, I ate a roller. He said, "What?" And the guy just says, "A roller skate," or "I had a roller skate," right? And then one of the other guys of the band says, "Well, I had grease," and then he says, "Not just any grease, but grease." Like he just like totally stretches the word out, right? And then he talks about he paid $2.35 for a plate of grease, which, you know, back. It seemed to me what they were trying to kind of hint at was they weren't making a ton of money on this tour. They were basically scraping by, and they were probably eating a lot of food that was not very good for them. You know, they were just like, I'll eat it because it's like all I can afford. I don't care, you know, sort of thing. Um, and but yeah, so when people, sometimes friends of mine will ask me, what did I have for breakfast or lunch or dinner? Sometimes I'll throw that joke out there. I'll say I had a plate of grease and a roller skate, and everybody's just like, what? And so I have to kind of like explain where that came from. Other times I'll tell people, well, I had like 10 double whoppers with cheese, 4 bags of marshmallows, 6 2-liter bottles of soda, and 1 sip of water, and I feel great. You know, just to kind of throw everybody off. Would I actually eat stuff like that? Have I eaten greasy food before? Yeah. I think most everybody has at some point in their life. They're just kind of like, that's all. You know, like greasy pizza. You know, yeah. But that's where that comes from, and I sometimes I'll listen to that album because it's just the stuff they talk about. I laugh. You know, I don't take it seriously. I don't think they took themselves very seriously. They were just, you know, a bunch of young musicians traveling the country, having fun, and, you know, all that. So, there we go. All right. But anyway, that's where that comes from. If anybody, from now on, I'll say, refer to the video on the 27th of December, 2023, where I talked about it at about 40-something minutes in. But yeah, his music is definitely not fair. Matter of fact, he did testify in front of Congress, I believe, the Senate, when they were talking about the posting the mature labels on music and all that. He was one of the musicians that testified about censorship. All right, just under 23 nautical miles to our first navigation aid there. But anyway, let's see what other. Yeah, I did watch golf. That was pretty good. Really nice course down there in West Palm Beach. Weather was nice. It was nice and sunny. Maybe wish I was there instead of here where it was snowing. Boy, do the golf club companies, the amount of commercials for new clubs. Oh, you got to get this new driver. It'll give you massive distance on your drive. You'll hit it off the tee better than your friends. Oh yeah, just all kinds of. You got to get this new driver technology with a movable weight. And you can change it while you're on the course, and it'll give you this kind of. Yeah. A lot of great shots. I have to admit, there was at least 3 where somebody was technically what they call in trouble. They were like in a bunker or something, and they hit it, and bam, it went right in the cup. and they basically kind of saved their round on Saturday by just some really phenomenal golf. But no, I didn't see any hole-in-ones, but yeah. But it's interesting to watch some of the players that were doing well. Something happens and they just fall apart, and they can't recover from it. And every time they try, and they're like, okay, finally they're back. You know, like one hole they'll do very well, and the next hole it all falls apart. And yeah, it's very interesting sometimes to watch. How do the players respond to adversity? They hit a terrible shot. They have a terrible hole. How do they bounce back from it? Do they dwell on it, or do they kind of go like, well, you just have to shake it off and do better on the next one? Alright, I think we can get our shot of the flight here. And we're cruising along here at a nice, stable speed. Ooh, I like that, right? No matter if I just go right there. A little bit closer. There we go. I totally forgot when I did that quick video about whether, hopefully people found that helpful. I don't know, nobody's commented on it, so I don't know, people are kind of like, well, maybe not, or at least thanks for, that's okay. Hopefully some people found it helpful, hopefully it gave them some good ideas, a bit of clarity, whatever you want to call it. All right, next one is 11450. This is our first, yeah, this is a 97 nautical mile leg for our next one. We're top there. So anyway, what else is there? What else to talk about? Busy weather. Dad told me that he talked to a Coast Guard buddy in Los Angeles area that got a couple feet of snow in Los Angeles over the weekend, apparently, which is very rare. Folks up in Northern California got a couple feet of snow. I don't know if they got any more. We had maybe an inch or two, and now it's all pretty much gone where I live in New York. Probably blasted a Milla already, passed through. quiet chat today. That's all right. Lots of people don't like Mondays. Everybody's kind of grumpy. They're like, oh, it's so good. I have been watching. Nick will appreciate this. His favorite female detective, Rosa Diaz, over on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Been watching that again. What I've noticed is everybody, because I think it's more Michael Schur, who was the producer, did some of the writing for The Office, Parks and Rec, and there's themes between all three of them that are shared. It suddenly dawned on me now that I'm watching it, watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and having watched The Office more times than I probably care to admit. Same thing with Parks and Rec. There's some recurring themes that I noticed between all those shows. I don't know if that's because of him or if he's got the same writers and basically they introduce the same ideas in all three shows. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. It was recurring themes. And I guess it works. It's a formula that was popular. This workplace sort of dramedy. Because there was times that Brooklyn Nine-Nine was not too funny. They got a little serious. Yep, I was like, oh, there's Santiago and Diaz. Nick's probably like, yeah. See who was the golfer that won this year. See if it was the same person that was in the lead on Saturday. Yep. Good for him. Chris Kirk. Played phenomenal golf. He was behind on Saturday when I started watching coverage. He was behind by a couple strokes or a couple shots, and then he took over and never looked back. All right, 11450. Yeah, that's it. British. Of course, if they're in Scotland, I can't really get used to it. I used to know all that stuff. The old course where golf. St. Andrews. I just remember that. St. Andrews. St. Andrews. I'm looking to see if anybody's going to answer the question. St. Andrews. All right, we have just under 92 nautical miles to go to our second navigation aid there. Hoping here pretty soon I'll be able to get back into a normal streaming schedule. Let's see, trying to keep things going. See the surgeon here in a couple weeks. See what he has to say. See when I start physical therapy. Simple movements have been, it's been tough. The muscles and everything are really super tight. And it's going to probably take me a very long time to kind of get everything kind of unwound. I do not recommend ever breaking your arm or any bone for that matter, but it sucks, especially the dominant arm. You break your non-dominant arm, you'll probably be okay, but having your dominant arm broken in any way, shape, or form is just, but I'm really thankful for the care I've received. Everybody involved has been absolutely fantastic. I'm of the opinion now that if I feel like the care is not up to snuff, I will not just keep my mouth shut. I will let people know my dissatisfaction. But so far, yeah, everything's been fantastic. Everybody's been wonderful. Alright, so the next one we have is a 51 nautical mile, then 93, and then we're there pretty much once we get to that last navigation aid there near Little Rock Airport. They be ready to put it on the ground. We'll start dropping altitude as we get closer, so we're kind of prepared for our approach, whatever they want us to do. As always, once I'm in that mode, I will keep my eyes off the chat until we're on the ground. Is under control. This may be at least a 3-hour flight, maybe 3.5. So we got a long way to go on this leg. I think we're doing pretty good overall. Quiet skies, not a plane in sight. Hey, Infidel Farman, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you here. Hopefully your studies are going well. I'm guessing you're getting ready to hit the books. Nice to see you here. Nice. Good stuff. I don't miss those days at all. I'm glad I'm done with school. The time at the community college and the 2 semesters at Syracuse was enough to cure me of... I prefer to learn on my own, at my own pace. Subjects that I want to learn about, I can find ways to learn. Yeah, I was all set to do the whole, get my bachelor's at Syracuse, and then after a while I'm just like, no, this isn't what I should have done ages ago. And I think maybe you've heard this. When I was living in California, I'd already started to apply to San Jose State. I was so ready to do it, I'd already even picked a fraternity. That's how serious I was. And I never went through with it. I regret that, because I think I would have done well back then and had my degrees and had a different career path than where I'm now in life. But that's, stuff happens. You make decisions, and that you later go like, why did I do that? That's okay. It happens. But yeah, it's hard going back to school when you're older, because you don't really fit in with anybody, with your fellow classmates. When I was at Syracuse, a lot of my classmates were lazy, for lack of a better term. They wouldn't come prepared, and so we would have discussions. It was like they would wait for me to say something. They'd go, yeah, what he said. And I'm just like, wow, I'm doing all the work, and everybody's getting the same credit. Even though the teachers are like, no, that's not. Yeah, you can lie to your friends, and I can lie to my friends. Let's not lie to each other. But I'm thankful for the opportunity to have gone to Syracuse. But it's just, yeah, it was not. After a while, I discovered it. It was very difficult to get through. And like, I had a photography teacher who she's a National Geographic photographer, and I was like, man, this is gonna be fantastic. I get to learn from somebody who's part of National Geographic. And it was a very, it's either you how can I describe it? it's either you got with the program or you didn't. There was no in between. Even if you struggled, you're like, I'm trying to get with the program. And I told her, we did our end of class kind of, we were talking about the semester, and I said, I began to hate photography, quite honestly, and I love taking pictures. But I said, yeah, I didn't want to go out and shoot, and she was like shocked when I said that. And I said, I'm just being honest. The assignments were tough, and I tried to do the best I could with what I had available to me, but, I wasn't on campus. Whereas the students on campus, they had access to each other. And I was, all by myself. So, yeah. Yeah, it was very difficult. So, but yeah, I told her, I said, I began to hate photography. I'd go out and shoot what I thought the assignment, what I'd read from the assignment, and I'd get blasted for it. Well, nope, you didn't do this, and this isn't what I was looking for, and it's just, I did what I thought was going to work. And apparently I goofed it. But, yeah. I mean, I had discussions with some of the teachers I had at the community college, and I said, because I would, if the teacher asked a question, I'd raise my hand, because that's what you're supposed to do. And after a while, the teacher's like, stop raising your hand so much. And I'm just like, well, then I'm not going to get participation points. I'm not participating. Well, you're always participating, though. You can't always. I'm just like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. What do you want from me? So yeah, I just. But I'm fine with my associates. I at least I can say I'm a college graduate, even if it's community college. I did the work, got my degree, graduated with honors. Hey, Planet Neutral, how are you? Nice to see you here. Yeah. But it's like, if you don't, then it's like the teacher kind of then the class kind of drags on, and you're just kind of like, come on, don't make me answer the question. I'm going to answer it, but if you guys aren't going to, sometimes I would reach that point of frustration, where I'm just like, I gotta answer the question, otherwise we're going to be on this subject forever, and we're not going to move forward to the next topic or something, But yeah, I think it was difficult too, because I had, not only did I have a student relationship with a lot of my teachers, but then when I was working on campus as well, I was also an employee, so I had that employee relationship, and I always, like on the first day or so of class, when the teacher they hand out the syllabus and they lay down the law, and I go to the teacher after everybody would leave, and I'd say, this is my situation, this is who I am, blah blah blah, and they're like, it's fine, and so I had always talked to them offline, after class, or schedule, a meeting with them to talk about things that I saw, or my experience, and just say, this is where I'm at. And some teachers were receptive, and other teachers are just like, well, just gotta, So, yeah. Yeah, nice to see everybody here. Hopefully everybody's doing well on this last Monday of February. Can't believe we're already 2 months in. 2 down and 10 to go. Before we know it, the holidays will be here. I don't know where the time's going, but it's going somewhere. But yeah, I don't miss it. I don't miss having to worry about turning in assignments and rewriting papers and trying to understand what the professor's expectations are. And, the some professors would make snide comments to about veterans and stuff like that. And so yeah, I don't miss it. Yikes. Yeah, I don't miss any of that. But I'm thankful I got a degree. I got my associates, and I'm fine. I was all set for the bachelor's, but it's not worth the headaches. And what I don't like, what I found was that a lot of the instructors, they would just read from a PowerPoint. There was no like I had one teacher was early England history, and so we had a couple different books that we had to read for the class, and then we'd have a discussion about and so if you didn't read the assigned reading ahead of time, you were not prepared for the discussion, and the teacher could tell. Now if you could kind of BS your way, good morning, Milla, BS your way through it, you might be able to, but after a while, pretty soon, you're going to run out of luck, and the teacher would kind of figure out that you're not really doing work. So what I usually would do, because we'd be on a Zoom meeting or class, and I would have the book open to the relevant stuff, and I would just kind of, look for the information real quick to, so, but otherwise I'd generally be prepared. Yeah, I don't miss stuff at all. Oh boy. Oh, and I used to dread group projects. Oh, I go to, can I just work on? Nope, you got to do a group project. No, please, can I just work on this stuff? Oh, nope. We know who does the work and who doesn't. Yeah, right. Don't miss those days at all. Front bus on the console. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Exactly. I know where Joseph is. He's not going to be in here at all today. He's watching Jason. He's watching. I had a pasta last night. I was going to give you the answer. I had a roller skate in the grease. Bex asked me on Saturday on Pulse's stream when I was down for dinner. Blade of grease and a roller skate. What? I always like to surprise people with the answer. Both, exactly. And the mothers of invention. Giving you silly answers to the typical questions. 54 nautical miles to our next navigation aid. It's cruising in the sky here. We got somebody in a Cessna 208. Rooney. And the sky is way over, somewhere over there. Airport. But yeah, I'll tell, since we're already on story. So when I was at the community college, my chair, he was my chair, Tim. He's the department chair for the communications. he kind of got thrown into that position when the former chair had been kind of like, Joe is on there. I guess it's being released on console, or he's got an early access key on the console for Fernbus. But I don't know if that's like next gen only, which means players like Joseph would be out of luck until they get a PS5. But anyway, so he nominated me for the Chancellor's Award, which for SUNY, State University of New York. And so there was like this big process, and you had to. Well, so he submits the nomination, and then there was like stuff I had to, like questions I had to answer, and I think there was like a short essay kind of thing, and I was nominated, which in itself is an honor, right? You get nominated for something like that. The winners all go up to Albany, and they have dinner with the chancellor of the university system, and the whole SUNY system, and it's like a big event. Well, I didn't make it past I forget what round it was that basically because I was wondering, I hadn't heard anything, and there was supposed to be like a next step process or something like that, and I deleted the emails, and I wish I had kept them because they no, I'm glad I deleted them, because when I read them over and over at the time, it was like it was like like nothing I had done at school mattered. And so the person who basically I'd ask, I'm like, so where am I at in the process? I'm just trying to is there anything else I need to do? Whatever. And basically the list that they gave me for why I wasn't considered was all stuff that most younger students would be involved in. Like, I wasn't like part of student government. Why? Because I'm like, well, it's that's not what I'm here to do. Other people did that. That was their thing. People way younger than me. I'm just like, that's them. That's their. I'm not here to do all that, because that's not the experience I'm looking for. And so none of my tutoring mattered. None of my work on campus in the dark room mattered. None of the help that I, anything that I had done to kind of help the department or help fellow students, anything like that, none of that mattered, because I didn't. Things like student government or clubs on campus, and so then like I became a part of the photography club as a, I don't know how it was just like my photography teacher. She was like miffed that I got dinged for so many things that and so like we went up to Rochester to the Eastman Kodak House and Museum, and I drove us all the way there and drove us back. I did all the driving, and which was a lot of driving, and yeah, so none of that stuff mattered, and so it, like I said, it's an honor to have been nominated, and everybody's like, well, you could always put that on your resume, or if you're applying to other schools, that's something you can tell them you were nominated for the Chancellor's Award and all that. And I'm just like, it's like, you might as well, I was nominated for the Medal of Honor, but I wasn't awarded it. The Butters Show. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Uncle B Sing channel. We're on our way to Little Rock here in the Euchers 52. Nice little cloudy day here. This is the weather preset. A few clouds. It's like more than a few, but otherwise the weather is calm and we're making our way to Little Rock. But thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. So yeah, stuff like that. I don't miss all that politicking and all that. All right, just under 40 nautical miles to our next navigation aid there. Yeah, I just saw online that Joe was going live with the Fern bus on the console, so I guess that's the first bus, other than Bus Sim. It's supposed to be the next. But I would venture to say a lot of that's probably just for next gen only. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. I don't know. Jason was on Snow Runner. I guess the next season of Snow Runner or something. I am flying in the Euchers 52. It is a 1930s-ish. This is what they call the retrofit model. It's got a bit more navigation equipment than the standard edition. But this plane flew in Germany in the 1930s. It was used extensively. Well, so the guy who created this plane was all of his plans and everything were taken over by the Third Reich, and so he did not want his plane used for war or anything to do with the Third Reich. But they ousted him basically. And so it was used by the Third Reich during World War II. But it's a fantastic plane, very easy to fly. It looks complicated. It's not once you get it going. Matter of fact, when I throttle up, it will basically kind of take off on its own. I don't even have to pull back on the little left thumbstick to get the plane in the air. It'll just float right up, and we're on our way. So yeah, this is my favorite plane. This is on the retrofit. You only get this gray, silver, metallic paint scheme for the aircraft. But, yeah, I generally fly this. I used it for a significant part of a KLM route I did from Amsterdam to the former Dutch East Indies, which is now Indonesia. I was in the Fokker F-7B, but I had a heck of a time flying that, so I brought the Euchers back out. We completed the trip all the way to Indonesia. It was like 30-something legs on that. More than 3, I can't remember. It was a lot of flying. I broke it up into small sections in order for me to be able to do it. And so I did this. I've been doing this tour across America. We started over in JFK, and we went down the East Coast, down the southern parts of the states, through up into California, up the West Coast, and now we're zigzagging our way back across America. Um, this is leg 41. We're trying to land in every state. We're trying to land at airports we've not been to yet. So that's also part of the plan. So, but so yeah, this one has much more navigation equipment. It has, if we dial in our navigation aid frequencies, and we can get a general reading of how far we have to go until we get to that navigation point, so about 30 nautical miles. It was the first local Legends that was released for the flight simulator, and by far it's the only one that I've really enjoyed. I've not bought any one of them since. I think I bought the Fokker F7B, but after that I didn't buy any more of the local Legends. So yeah. But I didn't know. I did some research about Ukers himself, who made all these planes. The planes were pretty much ahead of their time as far as what they were able to offer back in the 1930s. But I didn't know that he'd basically, all of his plans and whatnot had been, he was ousted from the company, and the Third Reich took over all of his plans and his manufacturing ideas and all that, and used his planes for World War II. So he did not subscribe to their beliefs. All right, ads are coming up. The warning. Saw the warning, so stick around. We'll be back after the ad break. Subscribers will continue to be able to watch me fly uninterrupted. Uh, yeah, I have seen I know the Caribou came out last week finally when the New Zealand update was finally released. I tell you, there was a lot of angry people in the chat, or not in the chat, in the forums about the timing of the release. Everybody was like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? Why isn't it out yet? Yeah, a lot of people, I've seen some streamers already in the Caribou, and they do like it. Some people do. It's in my wish list, but I'm not, I'm kind of reserving my purchasing. I'm hoping that I can get a PC here in the near future, and just jump everything over to the PC, and that way I don't have to wait for, if something comes out for the PC, it's available right away. I don't have to wait for it to be released in the InSim marketplace. There's a huge backlog right now on the Xbox side. The only ones that seem to get released right away are like the local Legends and stuff like that. But I don't, I'm not, I may get it at some point, but not yet. Because every time I get a plane, it's like, okay, how can I fit this into my schedule? Um, you know, to do things that will be interesting for the audience to watch. So I'm a bit leery about, buying an aircraft like that. I mean, it looks fantastic, and yeah, you can put the cargo ramp down and all that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens with the Wasm fix, but I'm hoping that regardless of whenever that might happen, by the time they get it all sorted, either I'll have yeah. Although what I noticed too is all everybody has all these mods and whatnot, and sometimes for inexplicably for no reason whatsoever, stuff stops working together. And it's either because something was updated, or I mean, there's all kinds of it's like you have to kind of guess as to what's causing the problem. And either you have to uninstall everything and then reinstall it bit by bit until you figure out what works and what doesn't. Um, that's my only. But yeah, a lot of people have a lot of mods on the PC side, whether it's sound mods or all kinds of different stuff, and sometimes that stuff doesn't play well together. But yeah, I'm hoping, because it's difficult. Like when I first got into the sim, I would go to there was like a website that would always talk about upcoming releases and stuff like that, and so I'd be like, oh, this is gonna be fantastic. I didn't know that the developer has to submit it to Microsoft, and they have to go through a process, and there's a backlog and all this other stuff. So then it's like, well, okay, so it's not coming to the Xbox anytime soon, or maybe it'll never come to the Xbox. And so, yeah, after a while, I'm just like, so this isn't the same, we're not getting the same experience necessarily. And then when it was discovered kind of why we weren't getting that same experience, how they were going to fix it. So yeah, I'm hoping to get it on the PC. I just need a tower. I need a solid PC with a great graphics card that can handle things. You know, and then go from there. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm really kind of keen to get my hands on. But it's also, part of it is, where do I fit it in? Because if I buy stuff and I don't fly it on a stream, then it's kind of like, well, then what am I? It's just sitting there for no particular reason. So, but part of it too is it's a time constraint. Like if I get the DC6, the startup procedure on the DC6 probably takes forever. If you got to find all the buttons and dial everything in, and you have to do things in a certain order. If I do that on a stream, that's a lot of time. Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. They're not. So I'm just hoping that at least something that I can, that's fairly decent, that it can. The graphics are good, at least good enough where it's not, hot. It doesn't look like a big muddy mess, So yeah, it's I don't know. It's a. I don't know. I don't think so. I was watching one streamer with it the other day, and it sounds like it's all. Like this one doesn't have an autopilot, and it's okay because once you kind of get it, it'll kind of stabilize itself, and then it's just you just have to make small adjustments and keep it going in the correct direction. But I don't think it does. that's the only, and some people are like, no, I can't be bothered if it doesn't have it. Um, you know, that's a big, you know. But yeah, this one doesn't have it, and it's not bad. It's not, but the Caribou would be a different sort of thing to fly, and uh, I don't know how long it takes it for you to kind of get it trimmed out, and that it's not going to go crazy and go like a roller coaster ride. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but it didn't seem like it does. But I could I didn't see, nobody said, oh yeah, here's the autopilot setting and this is what you do to activate it or anything like that. So I'm guessing it does not, and it may never have had one. But some developers will put in kind of like a tablet like this that has an autopilot tab that you just put on the altitude and the heading, and it'll basically fly it for you. And then you can change the heading as you see fit. And you can change the altitude up and down as you see fit. Like the Spitfire has that, the Lightning has that, the Hellcat has that, I believe. But yeah, but that's just a rudimentary sort of thing. It's not like a true autopilot. It's just a but I don't think it does. All right, we're almost to our nav point here. Get our next one dialed in at next leg is 51 nautical miles. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like we're, for the Xbox side, we're in that dry spell again, even though we got the Wilga finally, which is a pretty cool little plane. I need to fly that on the stream at some point, although that's all manual. And some people struggle with that one as well. But it's like we're back in the thin Thursdays, as I like to call it, where we're not really getting much in the way of releases. I think everything it's kind of like we're waiting on. I kind of get the feeling that all the backlog is everything that has to do with the Wasm fix. Once that's done, now it's not going to, from what Jorg said, and I could be wrong, it didn't seem like that once the Wasm fix takes place, suddenly there's going to be hundreds of aircraft available in the marketplace on the Xbox side. It's going to be, okay, now we can start pushing this stuff out. They're not going to give us everything all at once, I don't think. It's going to be a little bit at a time. But I could be wrong. All right. As far as so it's in beta. Sim Update 12's in beta right now. I don't know how things are, how stable it is. Although the tricky part is, in the past, people are like, oh, it's stable, it's going to be fine, and then all of a sudden there's people are like, no, it's not. I've said about all these other issues and nothing's been resolved, and you're going to release it, it's not going to work, and blah 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 blah. And then so that's what happened with Sim Update 11. They were ready to release it, and they were like, oh, we gotta wait a little bit longer because apparently we didn't fix everything that we said we would fix. So I don't know. It's not going to be till towards, I think they said it wasn't going to come out until like March 28th, maybe. See, I don't know if it's supposed to come out on a Tuesday or a Thursday, so it may not be till close to the end of March before we see it. And that's if if they don't delay it. They already delayed it by a week. Let me tune in. 113. They've already delayed it by a week, the release. So there's no telling. We'll basically kind of just stay on this heading here. So yeah, that's from what the beta is out now, but I don't know where things stand. The only thing that I've noticed is that on Sundays the sim is bananas. Like when I try to do like those 3 flights on that one Sunday and I just could not get things completed. For whatever reason on Sundays the sim is just like a hot mess. And so I try not to fly on Sundays at all, even if it's just a quick little flight or whatever. It's just like I can't. It doesn't work for whatever reasons. It's got its own issues, and so yeah, I steer clear of the sim on Sundays. That's the only thing that I know, and that may not even have anything to do with anything. It's just that maybe is something that has been a problem all along, that for whatever reasons either stuff gets shut down or there's such an overload of people flying on Sundays that the sim just kind of like, doesn't like it. So that's the one thing I have noticed. Because I was at wit's end that one day. I was trying to do that flight from the little airport there in Canada, Timmins, down to Venice Municipal in Florida, and I was finally able to do it, but I didn't get it done till like that Monday or something. But Sunday it was just like I was everything was fine, and all of a sudden the sim froze. They kept talking about it was offline. I retried it like 3 or 4 different times, and I just could not get it. Tell you, you're in New Jersey for some days. Is that what you're telling me? You're in New Jersey, you're not in NYC? I think that's what you're saying. So yeah, it's just oh, okay. Well, have fun in New Jersey. We'll be sure to send Joseph on a one-way ticket out there to New Jersey, and you can give him the what for. I don't think he's coming in today. If he has, he's been quiet. He might be lurking. You never know with that young man. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's the only thing that I noticed. But yeah, I don't know how many builds it's going to take for them to say, for all the beta testers to say, yeah, the beta's good, everything's solid, release it, kind of thing. Or if it's going to be one of those, well, nothing seems to be resolved, and don't release this because you're going to piss off the community, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens after all that stuff is released. I want to see how long it takes before we start seeing like the the PMDG 737s and stuff like that, the DC-6, all the other aircraft that we've been waiting on. but there's no see there. The problem is there's no guarantees that we're going to get everything because some developers never wanted their product released on the console. I think Airplane Heaven, who did the DC3, were very adamant about that. That they never wanted it. If they had their way, the DC3 would not be on the console. Because they had to kind of like dumb the graphics down to get it on the console, and they didn't want that or something or other, you know. So yeah. So I don't. They kind of have sullied their name with me as far as on the Xbox side. So I wouldn't spend any money on their stuff, even if it does get released for pay on the console. So. All right, already 38 nautical miles, just under 39 to our next nav point, and then we're going to make a long turn to head towards Little Rock. That'll be 93 nautical miles, and then we'll be there before we know it. We'll be on the ground, end the stream for the day. I don't have anything else going on that I'm aware of. I don't know. So I'm on standby. Standing by to stand by. I think the person knows who I'm talking to. Yeah, I think in a couple, boy, it'll be next week, Mick. Next week, a week from yesterday, the IndyCar series kicks off. They're in St. Petersburg, the street course in Florida. I don't know if I'll watch it. IndyCar cars is, I don't know. I don't like that windscreen. Might as well make it a closed car. They just don't look that exciting. Again, it's a safety thing, but it just looks. I like to see the car, if they could do a side-by-side comparison, what the car looks like with the whole windscreen thing and without it, just to see what, how does it look? So now Joe he'd posted, I guess, on his Discord. I did join his Discord again. When that whole package all that stuff came out for Transcend World 3. It was like Block Button became my best friend in his chat. When are we gonna get this? And how come this? And why can't you go faster? Shut up. My goodness. I want to see my route on Transcend World 3. They better do it, or else. Okay. Yeah, they'll get right on that. Oh. But what can you do? You can't make everybody happy, right? Somebody was talking about they were having trouble with something, and my first thought was, why are you telling Joe? He's not the customer service person. He's an ambassador, but he doesn't have any control over customer service stuff. Why don't you file a complaint? Log a ticket. Well, I've already done that. Then what are you talking about it here for? You know? Oh, goodness. All right, 29, just under 29 now. We're getting there. Yeah. Well, see, if they're not fussy in chat, they're fussy in the Discord server. I'm there, but I'm just kind of like, I'm not gonna say nothing because I'm gonna go in there and blast somebody and go like, what do you think this is? Why are you here talking about it? Why aren't you in the Dovetail forums talking about it? Yep, exactly, Mick. That's exactly it. You are 110% correct. Some people will never be happy with anything. You give them a steak dinner, and they'll be like, "Oh, but it's not the steak I wanted." Well, do you want to eat it? Yeah, I'll eat it, but it's not what I wanted. Where's Mr. Adams? He must have. Oh, that's okay, Joseph. I know. You were in Jason's stream, I'm sure, and then you were in Joe's stream watching the Fern Bus thing on the console. You were getting yourself all worked up on that one. Oh, Fern Bus on the console, and then he probably told you, "Oh no, it's not for next gen." And you're like, "Oh, gee whiz," right? Is that a pretty fair assessment? Is that how it went, Joseph? Roughly? That's okay. I know where you were. It's all good. When Jason and Joe are streaming, I don't expect you to be here, Joseph. I don't expect you at all. That's okay. It's all good. If you're otherwise engaged, you don't have to be here, Joseph. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. No, Jason was on SnowRunner. I know you like SnowRunner. And now with this Fern Bus on the console, I'm sure you were excited about that and you wanted to be there for Joe. It's perfectly understandable. Well, it's all good. You got to live your life, Joseph. I don't know any other way to say that. Like, I wouldn't unless I have plans with Mick. If Mick goes live, then that's Mick's choice. I'll be there. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joseph. Let me just put it that way. It's definitely not a game I would play. Not a game that game is very difficult to track on a stream. That's all I can say. Because the lighting is very dim. You got a flashlight, but it's very hard to keep track of what's going on. It's too I always use the word chaotic. That game is chaotic, and that's just too. I can't. Ooh, I'm down. I've got the coveralls ready and the boots ready. They've been sitting waiting. I got the straw hat and the pipe. I'm ready to farm. I've been ready. Let's get back to it. But yeah, that's a very difficult game to keep track of, Joseph. But if you enjoy it, more power to you. I couldn't do it. Not my thing. But if you're enjoying it, play the game as much as you can. If you're streaming it, stream it for as long as you can. Yeah, as soon as Joe went live, you're like, oh, okay, gotta go. We're gonna wrap things up. That's it. And you stream for like an hour. If you wanted to play for longer, play for longer. Okay? I don't know any other way to put it. You worry too much just because other people are doing other things. You know, that you got to stop what you're doing. You can't live your life like that. Wait a minute. No. Hold up there, Joseph. No, you said on Saturday you already have plans. Monday you're playing Police Sim with Para. Right? That's what you said on Saturday in Pulse's stream. So don't go back on your word with Para. So don't think, well, I'll do both. Oh, Joseph. Yeah, exactly what Mitt said. You already got plans. Well, no sense in making a fuss about things, you know, because you were like, all of a sudden your Sunday, you're like, oh, we're gonna play Evil Dead with Bex, and the next thing you know, Chris is in there too, that's your thing, and but you're like, oh yeah, Monday I'm playing Police Sim with Para, so play Police Sim with Para. Farm's not gonna go anywhere. It'll still be there. But if you already committed to that, keep your commitment to Para. That's being a good friend. Exactly. If you already made that plan, unless he's changed it or he says he can't do it all of a sudden, then that's a different story. But if you committed to that, you need to stick with it. The farm's always going to be there, Joseph. Just because it's today and you've got other plans doesn't mean that the farm suddenly disappears. So like I said moments ago, you just got to live your life, Joseph. The people who love you are always going to love you regardless. There we go. We just got all tender in the chat. Now let's get back to normal. Nine nautical miles, just over there. You can, if you're waiting on Para, then you can watch and hang out in the chat until Para's ready, and go do your thing with Para. It's fun. It's not. The world's not coming to an end yet. All right, here we go. Almost to the last 1390. The next navigation aid frequency. Do your thing. It's all good. I just can't help but laugh sometimes. I'm sorry. All right, next leg is 93 nautical miles, and we'll get ready to put this thing on the ground. Flying for about 2 hours or just under 2 hours. Maybe about 15 minutes or so of chit chat before we got spawned in and got ready to go. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's flight. Doing the Nucleus 52 3M retrofit. Service from Columbia, Missouri to Little Rock, Arkansas. Navigation aid. I think that's an airport there, is it? Looks like it. Nope, it is not. It was wrong. Intercept that. It should be right below us. Sometimes you can kind of see it, the space where the navigation aid is on the ground. Always. All right, let's go ahead and dial. It's 11390. Heading of 241. 245. All right. So if you're gonna do it, Mixter, what time would you like to get started on defarm? What time do I need to report for farming duty? If you have an estimated time, or you're not sure, whichever works, it's all good. So between 1 and 2 my time. Okay, I will be ready to go. I will double check to make sure we don't have any updates for the equipment we already have. So it's already dealt with before you go live. One less thing to worry about. Are we on Elm Creek still, or are we on the new map yet? Or you're not? You're still deciding. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to get back on the farm. All right, last leg here, just under 87 nautical miles till we get there. We'll be on the ground before we know it. Elm Creek, still need to get those trophies, but we will start the new farm soon. Try to fit it. Okay. I'm supposed to have an appointment tomorrow afternoon, but I'm waiting on transportation confirmation. Which hasn't exactly been forthcoming yet, so I'm hoping the guy calls me today to say, yeah, I'll take you out there tomorrow. But the rest of the week, I don't have anything planned. So, other than, well, Wednesday, I'm getting groceries delivered because I still can't carry anything with my right arm, anything too super heavy, so I'm getting stuff delivered on Wednesday. As soon as I wake up in the morning, my paycheck clears. Well, not my paycheck, my disability benefits check clears. And then order some stuff from Wally World. Delivered. Yeah, whenever you're ready to get started on the other one, that's perfectly fine. Got the time, got the technology. as long as the technology doesn't fail us. Should give some shout outs here. I do want to give some shout outs to start with Scruffy's right hand person. He's been taking a break from streaming because he's in school right now, but we'll give him a follow, please. Infidel Farming. We're looking for a very chilled, I think he streams usually on Sundays. Planet Neutral. It's always well, not always. He pops in whenever he can. But yeah, do go give Planet Neutral a follow. Just very, very relaxed, chilled stream. Shout out to Parasocks CEO Scruffy Tam. Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Scruffy's socks never match on stream. So if you're looking for a laugh and just somewhere else to relax, Scruffy Tam is a good option. I think he'll be live tomorrow in the Vision Jet. Tomorrow morning. It's quite fun of that little speedster. All right, we've got all of the information we need for this flight. Close that down. Yeah. Missed Scruffy last night. My sleep has been very erratic, so I'm sitting here in the lounge or in the recliner. I tend to doze off sometimes, and then I wake up and it's like middle of the night, and it's like, oh, I might as well go to bed. So I didn't see Scruffy's stream last night there in Australia. And I forgot to give another person. Oops. Go to bed early, I wake up early, then I won't be able to sleep again. Yeah, exactly. And staff. I'll give staff shout out. If you're looking for, he concluded the Shipwreck series. He's looking at some other series to do on flight sim, areas to fly over. I think he's been doing some bush flights. He did try the Caribou for a little while the other day, I think. Yeah. So do go give him a follow if you haven't already. Him and Viper Strike both are very meticulous in their stream preparation. They do a lot of research for their flights. Viper Strike is on vacation right now, but he's been doing around the world in the DC-3, in the Breitling watch liveried. Breitling is a famous watchmaker. A lot of pilots use their watches, but he's doing it around the world in the DC-3. He's on vacation right now. So do give all those folks some follows if you haven't already. If you have, greatly appreciate it. Do check them out whenever you can. Very engaging streamers. Try to answer questions. Alright, let's go ahead and throttle back a little bit more, and we'll just start to naturally lose some altitude here. Yeah, every time I've popped in, a lot of those are giving me a good shout out, even though my content has been a little light lately because of the accident. I believe it's over a month now since that happened. I don't know where the time went, but man, I'd give anything to go back to that day and change things and never have this broken arm. I'm going to joke with the doctor or the surgeon again when I see him on the 14th of March. I'm going to say, Doc, is there any way we could just lop this thing off and put the robotic arm on there instead? Can I be the I don't need to be the $6 million. Just make me the $3 million man. What would be the recovery time for that? All right, just under 69 nautical miles to get there. I'm on the Southeast Asia. Oops. We're almost at the end of our flight, though. Gorgeous bag of chips. Interesting name. Yeah, we're on the last leg here into Little Rock. We're heading to our last navigation point, and then we're going to be we're heading towards KLIT, but I think there's one. Well, hold on a second. You could probably take off from Kilo Delta Romeo Papa. I don't know what aircraft you're going to be in, though. That is the closest one to me, but that's once we're at Little Rock, we're going to be ending the stream. So I don't know. We've only got 66 nautical miles to our destination, so yeah. Okay. That's oh, I see you in the F-18. Almost 64 now, just under 65. Well, a little bit more and continue dropping some altitude. A little bit of a crosswind here. So yeah, thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you didn't, you know where the complaint department is. Whether or not you get a response, I don't know. I see you in the airbag of chips, but I don't know if there's like a little hiccup now. Oh, now your altitude's moving. It was like you were frozen there. I'll have to do some homework and figure out where we would go next from here. Not today, of course, but another stream. Hopefully, depending on my physical therapy schedule here, and I'll know that maybe here in a couple weeks, I'm hoping. I should. And then I can kind of build a schedule around that. It may only be a couple flights during the week. Your plan is all set now. What plan is that, Joseph? Do I want to know? Do I want to ask? Maybe you need to keep those plans to yourself. Alright, let's see here. We still need to... Really gotta get some altitude dropped here. Before we know it, we'll be there, and then we'll be pushing the nose down to... Yeah, see, it shows you as a jetliner, even though I have the F-18. Okay, well, good, Joseph. Stick to that plan. It's fine. I said that the farm isn't going to go away just because you can't be there tonight. Stick with your commitment to that. It's fine. 51 nautical miles. We got a bit to go here. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Nick. Well, while you're waiting on Perry, you can always hang out in the chat and have a laugh. It's okay. Yeah, you can watch whenever, Joseph. It's all good. I'm sure we got plenty to do tonight. I take my eyes away and the plane starts going on in its own direction. 46 nautical miles. Live your life and do what you can when you can. That's all you can do. When you try to do too much, you're going to be disappointed. Ah, the forest. Ah, finally. Oh, there we go. See how we get on with that. A bit of a crosswind. I need to add. I just forgot. So forest to cut down. I'm looking forward to that. Now that we've replanted all those trees, and hopefully we're going to get some good money out of all that wood. Hopefully we have some boxes to sell too. We'll see. Are we talking about the ones where we planted, Vic, or are we talking about the other spot that has all the wood, the trees to cut down? I'm guessing you're talking about the where we replanted all that stuff. Oh, now we're on the ads kicking again. Okay, perfect. All right. I'm ready. I'll get this downloaded and set for tomorrow on YouTube for a premiere. I'll get myself sorted. There, bags of chips landed there. At what is it? One Alpha Romeo 3. Yeah, looking forward to that. Nice to get back on there with you. I missed my bro across the pond. It's gonna be fire, bro. That'd be good to be back on the farm with you. Too old for all that lingo. Ah, never too old. All right, just under 32 nautical miles. I gotta step away for just a hot second, folks. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Boy, this crosswind is something else. Alright. Never too old. Don't care what people say. Oh, the other good news is I reconnected with one of my old docs. Dr. Unger, MD. The docs I worked with in Afghanistan. I've spoken to him in quite a long time. But, we found each other again on social media. And maybe shoot him a message. Oh, mega chips in the Dark Star. Yeah, Dr. Unger. Yeah, we used to have a Dr. Rivera. His first name was Ian, so I'd always say Ian Rivera, MD. Yeah, Dr. Unger. We worked quite a bit extensively in Afghanistan together. Did a lot of minor procedures with him during the deployment, and also when I was working at the clinic. I worked with him. Usually, sometimes after hours, I'd stay late. Somebody'd come back in for a minor procedure, so I was always there to assist him. Always enjoyed working with him. He was the one that his air cav unit was tasked with providing support for a combat brigade from Fort Stewart under 3rd Infantry Division. They were tasked with support for that training training center. He asked if I would be a medic. To fill, because they only had a couple medics, so he said, "Hey, would you mind helping out for the training and everything?" And I jumped at the chance. I got to fly a little bit, not pilot, but fly second medic, or sometimes first medic. I wasn't like a trained flight medic, so I was like a back wall medic. Yeah, I was always grateful for that opportunity to care for like 30 something soldiers by myself. And happened to use they have this system called Blue Force Tracker. It's a computerized system, and it's got a messaging capability. We weren't allowed to have cell phones or anything, so I'd have to message and say, "Hey, I need to speak to the doctor," and so they would have to take down, because it was like all on big screen TVs and stuff in the operations center, and so then I would have to say, "This is what I got, and what do you want me to do?" And all that. So it was a very time-consuming process, trying to pass on info back and forth and say, somebody was complaining of this. What do you think is the best course of action for me to take? Here's my, what I think, my examination findings and stuff like that. When an MD trusts you like that, it's a very humbling experience, I think, as a medic. They'll say, yeah, the trusting that you're going to take care of these soldiers. All right, 19 nautical miles, I think. Well, let's get a little bit closer and we'll call in, because there is quite a few small airports here, airfields here in the area still. So I don't want to, we'll get a little bit closer and we'll call in. I know we're coming in for landing. So yeah, it was nice to start reconnecting with him. Well, we used quite a bit of that fuel. Yeah, sometime later this week, whenever I have time, I'm going to plot out our next destination from here. I'm guessing the next stream would be the 6th. Yeah, we'll go for the 6th of March. You never know, there might be a surprise stream later in the week, depending. But yeah, quite a bit of flying today. Definitely getting there before the almost 4 hours that it was expecting us to do the flight in. Let's see if it's on the list yet. Should be there. Wow, it's not even on the first page. I'll wait till it shows up on the first page. And then we'll call in for landing clearance. Thank you all again for coming in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully your Monday is going well as can be expected for the last Monday of February. There it is, number 8. All right, straight in, 22 right. Okay, folks, let me focus on getting this on the ground. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to... Oh, can we make it? Yeah, we can make it. We're going to make it. Alright. We're just going to head for that pattern entry right there. I thought about kind of flying over and then lining back up and all that, but I think we've flown quite a bit today. Today's flight, of course, brought to you by Parasox Airline. Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Ask Parasox Airline CEO, Scruffy Tam. He'll show you. So ask him nicely when he's streaming. He'll show you. Thank you all once again for coming in and hanging out today. Quite enjoyable to be back. Did a quick little stream, hopefully answering some questions for some folks about flight simming on the Xbox. Go ahead and get rid of this. Decided to like quickly push me over or something. Alright, let me focus on the flying and I'll catch up with the chat. So if, if you post anything, I will read it once I'm on the ground. Down here. Got a nice long runway to land on. Try to come in nice and flat like we normally do towards the end or approach. Oh, there is a little bit of a crosswind. It's not a complete headwind, but that's all right. This has an ILS approach. We could have dialed in the ILS localizer. But that's okay. Bags of chips skedaddled. Thanks for coming out and flying along for a little while. Appreciate it. Thank you to the Butters Show for the follow earlier. Thank you for all the subscribers and followers. Appreciate everybody. All right. Let's get a little bit lower here. Even just a little bit of a crosswind, it is difficult to keep this thing on track. Alright folks, little bump coming up. And there we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, would like to welcome you to Little Rock, Arkansas. Local time is 8:44 in the morning. We understand and appreciate the fact that it's the last Monday of February and everybody's fretting about. Uh-oh. We're glad you chose to hang with us today. Parking, please. Nope. We're gonna have a little tour of the airport. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not too shabby. We were able to get it off the runway right away. Always a good thing. Yeah, we'll go over here and find a parking spot where they tell us to go. Surprised they didn't send us to the fuel stand. All right. There's our parking spot there, it looks like. No, maybe not. There it is. It was hidden by the building. All right. And this little vehicle's going to get away. Oh, come on. A little bit more forward. We want the green box to disappear. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's get our lights off. All right, shut the engines down. And let's get our batteries. 1 and 2. 2 hours and 41 minutes. So we did it in like an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 9 minutes quicker than what the expected time was going to be. So not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So anyway, that will do it. So hopefully you enjoyed today's flight. I will be back most likely a week from today, and we'll continue on. Maybe we'll do a surprise one. Who knows? Later this week, depending on what's happening. But anyway, that will do it. Yeah. So, yeah, good flight. I really enjoyed that one. We had great weather. We made it great weather. And thank you again for everybody who came in and hung out. Thank you for the new follow. Thank you again, Mick, for the 100 bits here at the beginning of the stream. And so there we are. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday morning, afternoon, evening, early Tuesday for some folks. Depending on where you are in the world, those time zones will get you. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot until next time. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Can't even pronounce my stuff correctly here. Oh, thank you, Mick. Thank you, Mella. And until next time, peace, live long, and prosper.